The inductive clamp with the 871C is a really useful tool to use if you want to track wire, especially if you don't want to disconnect that wire, cut somebody's service off, you know, whatever it is. A lot of cable companies, they don't want to cut grandma's internet service off, so they'll use an inductive clamp as opposed to disconnecting and using direct connection method. So the way that you're going to do that is, this is the IC2 clamp, okay, and I've got it set up around this conduit which has the cable TV line coming into this building. You don't have, the conduit doesn't cause any problem, it's going to induce a signal. This clamp is connected through this cord down here to this port called clamp. Very obvious. So what I do is I put the frequency in the induction mode, the light will come on in induction. Now I'm transmitting, instead of out of those alligator clip ports, I'm transmitting out this cord to this clamp and inducing a signal onto this cable TV cable. Now there's a couple of things you need to know about inductive clamps. They're not the be-all end-all. There's always going to be some kind of limitation, pros and cons. You got to have a couple of parameters for these to work. One is, just like you are setting up a current flow through a cable when you do a direct connect method, this is the same thing. Only our grounding, you'll notice we're not connected to any ground stakes, just the clamp. The grounding is done through the cables itself. So on this end, on the cable box, you've got a ground, and on the far end, on the cable box out at the street, there's a ground. You can induce a signal to a cable if it's grounded at both ends, and you're between those two grounds. If you're not, if the wire was just to be open-ended on one end, sticking up in the air, and you don't have a path to ground, you're not going to get a signal, and you're not going to be able to track it. So you got to have grounds on both ends. And again, you have to have that clamp between those two grounds to set up that current flow. It will give you signal from here out to the pedestal on the street for the cable TV service, but once you get to that pedestal, the signal is going to stop because that's where the ground is. If you want to continue after that pedestal, you're going to have to put the clamp on the other side of that pedestal and use those two grounds and continue to leapfrog wherever it is you want to go. But the key thing to note here is grounded on both ends, and you're between those two grounds, and you'll light up that section of cable, but only that section of cable. So right now it's sending a signal. I'm on the induction mode. For the wand, I have to also select induction mode or I won't get any signal. Okay? And again, if you mismatch the receiver and the transmitter, you're not going to get any signals. And I'll show you what it looks like here if the cameraman wants to follow me. If I get over here, now I know the cable goes out in this direction. I'll put it on induction mode. And I've got a null here. And that's where my cable is. Okay? It's a really nice method because look, I didn't have to hook up anything. As far as alligator clips, I didn't have to disconnect anybody. If I'm trying to do a electrical line that's active AC, I don't want to mess around with electricity, so I'll just use that clamp. I don't have to call an electrician. Inductive clamp, it's a great way to go, and it's included with an 871C.